The message that it was carrying was completely wrong.
Am I a bad person?
The ad said things like,
I have no empathy. I don't respect you.
I have no empathy. I don't respect you. What happens to a company when it stops knowing exactly who it is? When it strays so far away from who it set out to be that to us consumers, it just all starts to feel really wrong. Let's take an example, Nike. We all know Nike. If I asked you, what does Nike stand for? You'd probably put your hand up within 2 seconds and just say, I've got it, just do it. In 1988, Nike launched their campaign, Just Do It. The first ad in the campaign was just 30 seconds long. It didn't feature a polished athlete pole vaulting in slow motion. It featured an 80-year-old man named Walt Stack jogging across the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco at dawn. Walt, he ran 17 miles every single day. This ad did not sell shoes. It sold the mindset, the belief, the values that sports for everyone. It was just as much for the Olympic athlete as it was for the dog walker and Walt Stack getting up in the morning and doing their morning exercise. Nike gave everyone the permission to do sport, whatever level that we're at. People responded to the company in a way that had nothing to do with its product features, its pricing.
Our prices have never been lower!
But the question is, why did people respond in that way? They responded because they felt seen. They felt connected to Nike's values because Nike's values were so clear. They were so genuine, and you could feel that when you see this advert on screen. And then throughout the 1990s, Nike's market share grew and grew and grew until they became the #1 player, and they had about $9 billion worth of revenue by the end of the decade. Not because their shoes got dramatically better, but because they believed in who they are. Fast forward to the early 2020s, and what did Nike do? Under a new CEO, Nike began pivoting. They tried to become a fashion brand, a culture brand, an everything brand. And in doing so, well, they stopped being Nike. And that opened the doors to brands that stood for something. On Running, Hoka, they were stealing market share because they knew exactly what they stood for, whilst Nike had forgotten what they stood for. Nike had their largest ever campaign riding on a single investment at the Paris Olympics. This was the moment for Nike to take that investment and remind the world exactly what it is they stood for. The ad was narrated by Willem Dafoe.
Tell me, am I?
It showed athletes in full competition mode.
Power.
The ad was beautifully shot, but it flopped. Why? Because the message that it was carrying was completely wrong.
I'm selfish. I have no empathy. I don't respect you.
The ad said things like, I have no empathy.
I have no sense of compassion. I think I'm better than everyone else. I want to take what's yours and never give it back.
I don't respect you.
Does that make me a bad person?
The ad was built around this premise that winning isn't for everyone. Remember, that is exactly everything that Nike was not when it started out. The debate wasn't even like, is this ad unsportsmanlike? How is this the same brand that had once told an elderly man jogging across a bridge that you belong here, had just told most of the world that sports are not for you? And you want to know the best bit? Go on YouTube now and try and find this advert on Nike's official YouTube channel. You can't. It's been taken down. They know that it sucked and it's been removed from the internet. This was a marketing mistake for sure, but it was one that was rooted in values misalignment. In September of 2025, they launched a new campaign called Why Do It? It was a deliberate reframe of the original Just Do It, and it brought back everything that Paris campaign had abandoned.
Why do it? With so much at stake, why would you dare? My question is, what if you don't?
Nike's chief marketing officer said this campaign is about reigniting the spirit of that original Just Do It campaign. The values, they're back, but Nike has already opened that big old vacuum for other challenger brands, Hoka, On Running, to come in and fill. Why am I telling you this story? Nike is not a cautionary tale about marketing strategy. It is a cautionary tale about what happens when a person or an organization becomes completely separate from their values. If you can start by understanding what your values are and being really clear about that, you set yourself up for a much, much, much bigger opportunity of not having that same values misalignment that we saw Nike have. So let me ask you something honestly. What are your values? Not the ones you'd put on your LinkedIn profile or the ones that are written on your company's website. The ones that actually guide your day-to-day decisions. Because if you can't clearly name your values, just doing it, getting started, community, health, family, hard work, achievement, whatever it is for you, you are already at the same risk as Nike had. Not a dramatic blow up overnight, but just a day by day small shift in the wrong direction. Living in accordance with your values is one of the smartest and most important things that you can do. The good news is that surfacing your values is not the most complicated task that you're ever going to do in your life. You just need the right 4 questions. And that is exactly what we're going to cover in the next video.
People ask me how I keep my teeth from chattering in the wintertime. I leave my locker